Most small business owners are actively bleeding cash and burning themselves at both ends of the candle, working 60 to 80 hours a week, and they don't realize that they're the ones causing it. Look, I'm Brooke Plack. I didn't build my businesses listening to influencers online or reading textbooks. I built my seven-figure businesses in the trenches, raw, real life stories and mistakes. And almost every single time I go over this list of mistakes, I can see multiple examples where I personally made the mistakes that we're going to talk about today. And you don't have to. You can follow the system that I have laid out for us so that you don't have to make the mistakes and waste the money and the time that I did. So stay till the very end because I'm sharing the exact framework I used to go from like daily operation chaos to finally stopping wearing the busy badge. All right, so let's get into it. The shift that you have to make mentally is probably one of like the biggest leaps into avoiding these mistakes. But like the real talk, if you go from, making $200,000 a year in your business to $5 million a year in revenue, right? Okay, so you have this like scattered and like overwhelmed period where like you don't like, do I hire somebody? Do I take on more customers? Do I not? Like, what do I do to like actually get this to where it can be a system where I can have a life and a business? Because it is a lie that you can't have both. You truly can have both. But when your business hits a revenue ceiling, it's almost always like never a marketing problem. It's an operations and a systems problem. The system is overloaded and it cannot handle anymore until you either tweak or redesign it. So these are the mistakes that are keeping you in those same systems. The first one is the invisible brain bottleneck. Okay. So you keeping everything inside of your head instead of documenting it. Every good business needs an operations manual. And I will tell you, I have used every trick and tool out there. You don't need it. All you need is a basic Google document. This is the blueprint. And then every single thing you do for a year, for 6 months, I'm still doing it in our businesses today. And my oldest business is 12 years old, is I'm documenting emails. This is the copy that goes to all the families when this happens. This is the copy that goes to these clients when this happens. And then linking it into a Google document. Or if you use Microsoft or whatever operating system you're using, don't buy into and waste money on all these fancy systems. Get you a basic document and then make sure that you are documenting what you're doing. Because once you get that out of your head, you no longer have to make decision fatigue and have decision fatigue anymore because you're not making those decisions over and over. You are copying, pasting, and improving on what you've already done, what's already worked, and what's already got your business to where it is today. And once you hire someone who now takes that off your plate, they are just taking a regular, ordinary procedure, right? And they are doing your extraordinary work for you, because what we want is we want ordinary people to be able to deliver extraordinary results. And how you do that, the one secret is documentation. If you don't have any documentation, that's okay. You can start where you are right now today, okay? Because the pain of not doing it is it will lead you straight down a hole to burnout, to decision fatigue, and for being overwhelmed. And that's going to stop the next phase of growth in your business, okay? And if this sounds like you and you're like, oh, Brooke, you are right there. Like you have been there, you have done it. And I have. I've made the wrong hires. I've made the right hires. I've forgotten to document. I've documented it. I've done it all. But subscribe to our channel because every week we are dropping multiple videos to help business owners just like you. Okay, the second mistake I feel the most guilty for, and that is panic hiring to fix the overwhelm. I can't tell you, especially in the first 5 years of my business, the people that I hired and they're like, okay, what am I going to be doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I just need you to do something so that I'm not doing all of it. And it leads to so much confusion, and then it helps it doesn't help eliminate your workload. It creates more workload for you. So if you are stretched thin and you are already drowning, when you bring someone on without a system, it is going to cause you twice as much work. So here's the fix. If you will make a hiring and delegation playbook, so just like you're linking those operations and all of your standard operating procedures or your email copies into a document, make a document that is ideally, this is what's going to happen. This is the ideal situation. And so you need to hire based on documented outcomes, not just finding a helper like to pass on random tasks to. That does not give anyone job fulfillment and it does not solve your problem for the long term. So figuring out what is it that I actually need help with, and that is something I'm an expert in at this point. Over a decade in, I can tell you exactly what we need help with. What does success look like in this role? And what does failure look like in this role? Once you have those things lined out, that will make hiring a total breeze. Okay. Mistake number three is treating revenue like it is profit. So when I say, oh, you have a 7-figure business, that doesn't mean you are making 7 figures. There is a difference. So if you are only looking at the top line revenue, how much revenue we're bringing in, how much are we bringing in versus your actual stay home profit, like staying flat or like dropping, like what you're taking home with you, tax season becomes a panic, a nightmare, because you don't actually know what your margins are and your cash flow metrics. And so you've got to figure out where you can like bring light into a dark place and have financial visibility. So I use a cash flow statement, a cash flow spreadsheet that is built out. Some of my businesses are built out 3 to 6 months. Some of them are built out for a year or a year plus. So I already know what the financials are going to look like and the targets are going to look like, and also where the deficits are from now until like February of a year and a half from now, right? So if you have a way of looking at that, looking at your profit and loss statements and looking at your cash flow every week, not when things are crazy, not just when things are bad, but even when things are good, you can make educated decisions based on real numbers and not your current bank balance and your own information. And that gives you power. It gives you calm, and it allows you to stop having panic on a Saturday morning that you're worried about paying the bills on the Monday, because you've been looking at this forecast for weeks or months ahead, and that's allowed you to do some proper planning, some new recruiting, some promotions to get revenue in. And so having that type of system in place, that's a business. That's when it becomes more than a job. All right. Mistake number 4 is a bloated tech stack. Entrepreneurs and small business owners love to try out the newest tech. Shiny object syndrome. I'm going to try something new. I can do it. I can do it. But the thing is if you get a mountain of software and tools and none of them are actually getting the work done that you need done, you are just eating away at those margins and giving away your profit, and you're not actually fixing anything that needs to get done. So if you will strip down your operations to the least amount of software needed to get the job done, then you can focus on maximum output and streamlining your workflows. Because I promise you, you and your team or your future team do not want 18 different things to log into every day. Okay. 4 to 5 max. And that is even pushing it. Like for me, an optimized tech stack is we have our company email, which is Microsoft. And then we also use our planner board that's in there. And then I use Google Drive for document storage. Could I use Microsoft? Yes, but I'm just like an old lady who doesn't want to transfer. I know half of our team uses Microsoft. And so it's like not totally optimized, but then I use Google for my document storages. And then I share it over to our operations manual, like I talked about earlier. Okay. And then in Google, I have my spreadsheets that I do my cash flows on. And so that is like tech stack on the admin side. That's as rich as it goes. Then each company has their own CRM that runs their customers and then runs like the financials that come through there. And that's it. We don't try to get fancy around here. Okay. Use the calendars, use the tools, use the AI. Now, do I still use some AI tools personally for my day-to-day work? Yes, you bet I do. But as a company, we are not getting HubSpot and getting this and getting this and getting this. Decide what your company is going to use and use just that, okay? Use just those tools. And if one tool is not working, like your CRM is not, robust enough, for example, well, then switch to a different one. Start shopping options and look for a different one. So if this is exactly where you are in your journey and you're like, I've got revenue, I've got systems, I need to hire somebody, or I don't have systems and I've hired some people and I don't know what they should be doing, like I can help you. I have been there, and that is my sweet spot as a business coach and a lifestyle coach, because we want to help you build a business that you can build your life around, not the other way around. We don't want you, like your life, to have to revolve around your business, right? So what are your goals and how do you get there? And you don't have to do it alone. You You don't have to go to some Ivy League university to have a successful business, but it is so much easier to learn from someone else's mistakes than have to do it yourself. So there's a link in the show notes that you can click if that sounds like something that you might be interested in. It's not for everybody. We don't have very many spots open because obviously I'm busy running other businesses too. But I have such a passion for helping business owners grow and learn from the mistakes that I've made, so it will catapult you even faster than I have in building my businesses. All right. And then the last one that I promised you about the busy badge. Okay. Conviction here. Absolute conviction. I remember saying the sentence to my friend, if I could be busy enough, then maybe I would be good enough. Ugh, right? So as a business owner, we feel like we're always on. For our customers, for our teams, we always have to be on. But if you get to a spot where you do optimize your systems and we do get the right hires in place, then you all of a sudden aren't as busy, and that can feel weird and awkward, and that you always need to be filling that space. But it's okay to have time to pursue another interest, starting a YouTube channel or writing a book or doing something that you're interested in, like kayaking or gardening or paddleboarding. And you don't have to continue to sit at your desk and feel like you've got to do busy work, because that will drain you. And sometimes it's not even necessary. So what is it that actually needs to be getting done by you versus something that could be equally delegated or even eliminated and doesn't really need to be done for the business at all? So giving up that busy badge is probably the hardest thing that I've had to learn, is like, oh, the work is done for today. It's never going to be all done, because then you wouldn't have a business, right? You want there to still be work to do, but being able to say that's enough for today, sit and have a cup of coffee, go eat lunch away from your computer, build a relationship with someone outside of your organization, and let that sit. And that is something that I struggled with for definitely 10 years in business, and learning how to have the human part of me also be very important, and not just the business owner, boss lady part of me, right? And so a business that depends on you entirely, leave you with this thought: it's not an asset. It's a high stress job with very, very expensive overhead. Trust me, I know. So stop trying to be the hero who puts out every single fire, and start building systems that can prevent the fires from starting in the first place. Until next time.